What's going on, YouTube? It's the best show on a Friday night. Welcome to Hockey Stick Talk Nation with your host, DM Hockey, and my guest tonight, Karen from the Hockeytalk Daily.
How's it going?
Welcome, Karen. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Sorry Blake couldn't make it tonight, but I'm super pumped to be here.
No worries. We're glad to have you. I've been wanting you guys on for a while because I think what you guys do is excellent. I follow it on Discord, on Instagram, and hopefully soon be YouTube, like we were talking backstage. But before we get the show rolling, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor here. So just bear with me 1 second while we get this ready. We're a little bit slow here tonight. Oh, come on. Always technical difficulties on the show. There we go. So, hey folks, are you looking for singles for your PC collection or looking to collect a certain player? Why not check out the show's sponsor, Tsunami Hockeycards on eBay. Links in the description. This week, he has a great deal on where you buy two, get one free using the code TsunamiFans September 2nd. And you can also use the code for 25% off on your first purchase of DM Hockey 88. So make sure you guys go check him out. He's been updating every day, and he has great deals on there as well. So go check him out and let him know I sent you, and use the codes for some good sales. So thank you to Tsunami Hockey Fan. And without further ado, let's dive right in. And as we do always here on the show, we got to give the shout outs to the chat. So we have Robert Springs, who can't make it tonight because he's at the beach with his boys. But thank you, Robert. We know you're always here. We have Barry. He's a Bruins fan, but don't hold that against him. And he's an Astros fan, so he's a little bit touchy on that subject right now.
Might have to hold that against him. Yeah.
Then we have my buddy, who I'm on his show every Wednesday night, Tim Incarnito Sports. So go check us out there on Wednesday nights. Great time over there. We also have Vince, sports card ripping teacher, a good friend of mine. So thanks, Vince, for coming. We appreciate you. And we have my buddy, John, the autograph fisherman. Anything TTM related, definitely go check out his channel. He's a great guy and always willing to help people. And then we have my buddy, my brother from New Brunswick, Maiden's World of Wax. Thank you, buddy, appreciate you for coming in. And check me out Sundays on his show with Hockey Stick Talk Nation Top 5. This is a tongue twister, let me tell you. And then we got who's on after me, the late night Sportscards and things with Aaron. You'll always see me there after the show. So thanks, Aaron, for coming in. And we have Dewey Thacker. Thanks, Dewey. And we have my other buddy, Zach's Collections. He pulls some wicked Magic cards and some old Jank Pack cards. The G.I. Joe's one were really good this week. So awesome there, Zach. We have CCB coming in. Thanks, CCB. We have Alex J's Mix. Scrolling down here.
Canadian card breakers keep us updated on the Mooseheads game there, Maritimers. I can't see it tonight. Keep us updated in the chat.
Jason's actually from Alberta.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. He actually grew up beside Jordan Eberle, one of my favorite players.
Really? That's
He knows cool. Eberle's parents.
That's something.
So great of Jason to always be around, and he's a newfie that lives in Regina. So
gonna be tough. Sorry, I thought based on your early comment that you were a Mooseheads fan there. All right, then I got to keep the score on my phone on the side then.
So I want to thank everyone for coming in. Thanks to Karen for coming in tonight with us. I've been wanting to have him on. He's going to have a great spotlight tonight. So everyone, make sure I have his links in the description. Go follow him. If you love Hockey Talk, this guy is updating that. Him and Blake every hour, every minute, every second. It's 24/7. This is where I get most of my news from for the show, is from these guys. So I give them the check mark. You guys should too.
Hmm.
So without further ado, Kern, the NHL season started today.
It did.
Our first game was Buffalo and New Jersey. I know you didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. It was during the afternoon, which is, I don't know why they would have, but time difference. But did you see any highlights from the game?
I saw a few highlights, and my biggest takeaway is Jacob Markstrom. And I think a 4-1 win with he made 30 out of 31 stops, that just signifies what's to come. Maybe not at this level all season, but he could be a sleeper Vezina pick. And I mean, hockey card collectors, could be a good time to be in on Jacob Markstrom because that's going to be a really good player this season, and he's going to take New Jersey to that next level, in my opinion. I'm just this one man's opinion.
And so we were talking backstage. Don't hold this against Kern. He's a Canadiens fan. But, I mean, we do have Toronto fans, so they're very disappointed with Toronto anyway, all the time, every day. But, no. What made you like the Canadiens out of all teams? This will be – because we never talked about this, so I'm curious to see.
Well, my grandfather would be the answer. So he was a big Canadiens fan when they were winning all their cups. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see any of them, but I'm standing strong until we get one finally, maybe once in my lifetime.
Any favorite players, past or present?
Yeah, so Carey Price would be definitely the guy. I was a goaltender growing up. I just finished last season with my final season in playing junior hockey, so he would have been the reason I started as a goaltender, and definitely my favorite player ever. As of right now, I'd have to say I really like Nick Suzuki. Just have to pick a Canadiens player, but he's what? Oh, fair enough. That's a good one, but yeah, Suzuki would be my guy right now.
Nice. No, I think the Canadiens got a good up and coming team. Too bad that Laine got hurt because I really would love to see what Laine would do with this team because the first time in forever he was excited to come to the rink.
Yeah. That's one of the big thing, and he's obviously had a lot of struggles and just personal things going on. So it sucks to see that he's out for 2 or 3 months, but it's good because it could have been much worse.
Yeah, definitely could have. So I guess we'll dive right in. We got that. What I take from you guys here is we got our top 10. We add it to the stage here. There we go. Come on. We have our top 10 rookies this season. So this is good because some of them played last year, but they didn't make it for enough games to be counted as a rookie. So this year's like their big year. So on this list, you can see I got Stankoven, Celebrini, Michkov, Will Smith, Gunther, or Gauthier, Lane Hudson, Maverick Borg, Arthur Silvis, Rutger McGordy, and Askarov, who now actually got dropped down to the AHL. He didn't make the cut.
It's not a worry. He's just injured. He'll be back when he's ready to play.
So, Kern, out of this list, what name stands out to you that you should be watching for?
Well, there's 2 big players that I would look at here. And the first one is Artur Silovs. And he obviously 8th ranked, but don't overlook him because Thatcher Demko is battling some knee injuries, and we don't know if he's going to be healthy at all or when he's going to be healthy. He could be back in a month. He may not be back this year. Artur Silovs is probably going to have to hold down the starting goaltending role, and we saw him in the playoffs. He was excellent. Very, very good goaltender, and this is a guy who was absolutely wonderful for Latvia in the World Championships just a few years ago. I think he's a guy to keep a close eye on if you're a card collector. Don't want to say this is not advice, but I would be in on him personally. That's my my take on that. My second, and you call me biased if you want, but I'm going with Lane Hudson. And I think obviously all these guys are wonderful and they could be stars in the NHL. Hudson, something about him in preseason and at the end of last season, he played 2 games. And he just stood out. Like when you watch him play, he is the most visible player on the ice every single time, and it was very like it's something the Canadians haven't seen in a long time, probably since they won the cup in '93. So he's a player that if you want to keep a close eye on, you really should, because he is going to turn some heads. Don't want to compare him to Cale Makar just yet, but I'm going to make that connection a little bit.
Nice. See, for me, my top two would be Logan Stankoven, who had a wonderful year coming up with Stars, and then also Maverick Bork with the Stars. Those two would be my two that you should be watching for, because I think they're going to have really big seasons, almost like Wyatt Johnson.
Yeah, they really could. And Bork is the most interesting. Well, Stankoven's probably the best rookie we're going to see this year, like as of right now. But Bork is interesting because he has such a unique skill set. His hand on another level. It's a treat to watch him play.
And he led the AHL last year in scoring.
Yeah, he's a great player. It's just a matter of if he can translate his game to the NHL, and I don't see why he can't.
Yeah, and then my honorable mentions here would be probably Will Smith. I think he's going to do really great in San Jose, especially with the veterans that they brought in for that little bit young core.
San Jose, if you're going to watch one team with just rookies this year, or want to invest on just one team, it's going to be San Jose. They've got so much amazing potential, and they've surrounded it with guys like Toffoli, and obviously they still have some older players like Vlasic, who obviously, not the best player anymore, but still a locker room presence. And those are guys that are going to really help those young guys come into their own. Celebrini, obviously an amazing player. Will Smith, William Eklund is still super young. Askarov in nets now, like that's a very good foundation for the future. So they've got a lot of intriguing talent around there.
Celebrini, watching him, he reminds me of Jonathan Taves, that 200-foot player that's going to be very consistent.
I really like that comparison. He can really do everything. First overall pick in these recent years, we've seen a lot of just superstar offensive talent, and he's that, but he can play both ways for sure.
And as the chat knows, I'm not a huge Bedard fan. I can't stand him. I don't think he's a generational talent. I think he may be just a talent at the most.
Wow.
But that's just me. From like what I've been hearing, that's why they brought in so many veterans to surround him, is because he had a bad attitude in the locker room. So, but I just really, there's nothing sells me on Bedard like it did like a Crosby or a McKinnon. I just don't find anything special about him, I guess.
I don't know if I'd compare him to Crosby, but he's a good player. I think we have to see, because obviously his rookie season was good offensively, defensively not good at all, but that's not what he's there for. This season we're going to see more. We'll see what he's really made of there.
But shout out to Budget Rips for coming in. I see you stopping in. Thanks, Budget. So I guess we'll move on to our next one here, which I pick up from you guys. And this is the draft rankings from Bob McKenzie. I know you guys haven't updated yet, but have you heard any changes in this or anything we should be watching out for?
Right. Well, Bob McKenzie updates his list every once in a while. Now, we're pretty early on in the season, so it's not going to change for at least a little while. Obviously, when we get closer to draft time, it'll change all the time. But for now, this is a pretty solidified list, at least until we get into the probably 15 to 20 game mark of the junior seasons across all the leagues they're in. And I mean, clearly James Hagen's number one. Not a guy who's had coverage like Bedard and Celebrini did, but that's a very good player who is already playing in the NCAA in his draft season. So, goes to show he's already at the level he can play against guys who are, draft year +1 and draft year +2 and are really pushing,
Did you see this from Aaron?
Spots. Sorry, what was that?
Aaron says, anyone see that 7 foot 16-year-old prospect Alexander Karmanov dude looks ridiculous.
I haven't seen him yet, actually. 7 foot? Are you serious? He's Canadian. I'm gonna have to look him up.
Shout out to Sydney Cat for coming in. Thanks, Sydney Cat. But yeah, so yeah, James Hagen seems like he's going to be legit.
Mhm.
He doesn't get the spotlight like you said, but he seems like he's going to be a good number one, even like a solid player for any team. But my biggest one I'd be looking out for is Michael Misa.
He's interesting. And he's ranked 7th on this list. Just a few years ago, he would have been ranked number 1 by quite a margin. And
yeah.
Looking back to when he was granted exceptional status in the OHL, obviously, like that was like everyone was looking at him as like the next big player. He's dropped pretty badly since then. But I mean, what he's, the type of things he's gone through, I think he's a guy that could be the boom of the draft. If you pick him up, he may turn into a superstar player. And quite frankly, he could be nothing. He's one of those guys that he might be the best player on the team, or he may just not make it at all, which sucks to say because he was such a talent coming into junior. But
because I know there's a lot of hype around him, even when he got the exceptional status to come into the OHL.
Yep. He was almost like on the level of Bedard, I'd say, at the time, in terms of hype.
Yeah. Shout out to Lab Collector stopping in. Thank you so much. So yeah, we'll keep updating this as soon as Kern and the guys get this updated. I'll update it as well. They'll keep me informed. Then we'll move on to the news, and this is Curran's like spotlight, pretty much. This guy, 24/7, him and Blake up at like all hours of the night, rotating. Like these two put in a lot of work, so thanks to them for giving us all this great news. So we got still no word on Swayman deal. The last I heard is the Bruins wanted to do an 8x8.
Yeah, so Sweeney and the Bruins are looking at 8 years by $8 million, as you said. Swayman and his agent seem to be stuck at 8.7 per year, maybe in the range of even $9 million. So I guess they think that he's just worth that extra million, and the Bruins won't budge. The thing is, the Bruins really can't budge because they don't have the cap space. We'll see if they can maybe make a move to allow for them to sign him for a bit more. Maybe if they can compromise for like 8.5 million or something. We'll see what happens. Now, obviously, Swayman's agent came out to say that they had not received an offer for $8 million. I think it has at least been made now. I think they've at least made the offer at this point. But still nothing there. It looks like that could drag on for a little while into the regular season. And he hasn't requested a trade yet, but they are considering it as an option. So nothing is off the table for this Swayman debacle.
Shout out to Dig for stopping in and IGH Outdoors and Sports. Dennis, thanks guys. So and then we got Drew Doughty month to month with that bad looking injury that he took. I'm surprised it's month to month, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be a year by the looks of it.
It did not look good for him, I gotta say. It was even hard to just watch it back on the replay. It was
like your leg is not supposed to bend like that.
No, and yeah, it was just unfortunate. It sucks seeing stuff like that happen in the preseason, and it happens every year. There's always like one guy who goes down, or I guess there's been a couple now this preseason, but yeah, it's just unfortunate to see. But it's good that he might come back now.
Yeah, and then we got Brian Little signing a one-day contract to retire as a Jet. I'm happy for this because he started out in the Atlanta Thrashers and went to the Jets. He's been with that organization forever, so I'm extremely happy for this, and this is well-deserved in my opinion.
Definitely. He's a guy that often gets forgotten, but he played so long there, and I think he definitely had a well-deserved little happy story for him.
Yeah, and then we have the Ducks. Gibson expected to miss 3 to 8 weeks with appendicitis or appendectomy.
I don't even know how to pronounce that, but
yeah. So he's out 6 to 8 weeks. So that's I'm not worried because Dostal has been a great goalie, and I
As far as
think
I'm
he
concerned,
deserves the reins. And I really wish that Anaheim would trade Gibson because I really like to see him go on a cup contending team.
it's really sad. I think I just feel bad for John Gibson. He's had no chance almost at any point in his career to be on a true contending team. Like he came into the league when Anaheim was just good. They were just getting out of their window, and he's been stuck on that team ever since. And unfortunately, his career is pretty much just wasting away there. And the question now is he even good enough to be a starter for a cup-winning team? Not sure, because I think Josh Dahl's a better goaltender than he is now.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Christopher Works for stopping in. Thanks, Chris. Then we got a couple new captains around the league. I think this is a really good one and very well deserved. And Darlene getting the captain in Buffalo.
Mm.
I think it's really well deserved that he got it.
Yeah. No, I was shocked this didn't happen earlier, actually. But definitely saw this coming, and it was well deserved for him.
And then another one that was really well deserved and should have been a long time ago is Clayton Keller getting the C.
And I was shocked that didn't happen last season, actually. It seems like it was just a very obvious pick, but they finally got it done. So that's just, no brainer. Well deserved, both of them.
Shout out to Sticks G for popping in. And then this is terrible because he still wants to play, and that's Johansson's files grievance and termination with the Flyers.
I always hate to see stuff like this. Like, there's just no need to be, doing shady stuff with the contract, especially the Flyers. Like, they're not in a crazy cap situation. I understand his contract's not great, but I don't know. It's just weird doing that kind of thing now.
To me, it's like it's dirty. It's almost like the Pittsburgh Pirates, what they did to Rowdy Tellez.
Yep.
If one more bat, he would have made that, but they cut him.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's part of the business, but it's just kind of like shady. That's just not necessary in my opinion. Yeah.
Shout out DJ Wise for stopping in. And then this is one I really want to see because the league's not the same without this guy, and that's someone please sign Phil Kessel. Please.
Oh man. We've been advocating for this over at Hockeytalk Daily too. We need this guy on an NHL team. Just anyone. We'll take the Sharks can sign him. I don't care. Just sign him. And he says Iron Man streak's not a factor.
Just sign him. He's going to be a great player. And I mean, what team wouldn't benefit from a Phil Kessel?
I literally I don't understand why he doesn't have a roster spot right now. He's not a bad player.
No, he can still go. He might not be able to skate as fast as everyone, but he can put that puck in the net. Is better than anyone. Mm. Shout out to Spicy 4K Action for stopping in. And then, so this is what we were talking about backstage. So I'm a Rangers fan. Mm. So the Rangers are willing to pay top Carey Price's $10.5 million AAV for Shesterkin to make him the highest paid.
Yeah, it's interesting because Carey Price's contract, and while I don't know if Canadiens fans would say they regret it, it definitely hurt the team for a while, that $10.5 million AAV when he wasn't playing. But a guy like Shesterkin, can you afford to let him leave? And I don't think you can. So you pay what he asked for, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm even okay with going top heavy on the contract for the first 6 years and kind of dwindling it down.
Right.
Because you're going to be paying him to play for those 6 years and then back up pretty much.
Right.
Because he's the next king of Broadway.
Yeah, I mean, if you're giving him an 8-year deal, that takes him to probably 36 years old. And yeah, so he's there for his career mostly.
Yeah. And then Oilers, Evander Kane out 5 to 6 months after surgery. I think I'm not too worried about this one because they'll get him if they get to the playoffs. They'll get him back, and they'll be almost like a healthy Evander Kane.
Right.
So that one I'm kind of looking forward to see if they're going to keep him or trade him after this.
Unfortunately, I almost want to say this is a good thing for the Oilers because they just can't afford him in the cap. And coming back pretty much right on time for playoffs. It just kind of works out in their favor almost because he can be effective in the bottom six for them. But yeah, they just can't afford to bring him back right now. So it kind of just works out for them.
And then one of the biggest signings, I think, is the Jets signed Perfetti to a 2-year contract worth $3.25 million, which I think they underpaid for him, but because he's going to be a great player. He just needs the playing time.
I definitely agree. I guess the thought process for Perfetti is in 2 years' time, maybe he can prove to be an $8 million, $7 million player for him. So, I mean, on an 8-year contract right now, I wouldn't pay him that much, but that's what he is thinking, and hopefully it works out for both sides.
And then one guy I'm hoping makes the roster cut for the Jets this year because I loved him in the World Juniors is Brad Lambert.
Oh, he's so good. I wish Blake was here because he would probably talk about Brad Lambert for maybe 2 hours. Like, he just rambles about him, but he's a good player. He's a really good player.
He really is. And Vinny Helena or Helino.
Oh, Heinola. Yes.
Yeah, he's going to be a stud defenseman too. It's too bad that he got hurt last year because he was really starting to come up, and then that injury really dragged him down.
Yeah, he's been around the league for a while now. It just seems like he can't find a consistent footing. Like he gets injured or something just happens every time he finds his footing. Hopefully this season is his year. And
then another great signing by the Flames today or yesterday was Tyson Barrie signs a 1-year, $1.25 million. So that'll be good for them to have a little bit more offense in the back end there.
Yeah, definitely. He one of the best guys in the league. I mean, he may not be the best on the ice anymore, but great personality. And I mean, for $1.25 million, the Flames, they're just throwing money around at this point. They don't need him.
Yeah,
like they're just looking for a good draft pick. So it's a good pickup and a guy who really deserved it. So I like that.
And then the biggest news I think that really came as a shocker was the Blackhawks going to go all in on Kirill, but where is that going to leave them when it comes time to pay for Bedard?
It's an interesting question because, I mean, they have lots of players they just brought in this offseason. What I'll say is they did a really good job structuring it so they don't have too much cap trouble in the future. They only have like a couple 1-year deals, a couple 2-year deals, maybe like 1 or 2 3-year deals in there, but nothing that's going to hurt the team long term. Kirill Kaprizov could come in if the cap raises enough, but Bedard's going to probably want, depending on how he does over the next 2 years, maybe $12 million or something. So it's a lot of money, right? I don't know.
And then you got Bill Guerin said the Wild are going to pay him. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, but they got to show him that they want to win.
Yep. If they don't win this season, it's going to be tough to keep him because I think I almost want to say his mind is already a little made up that he might want to go somewhere else. And I mean, for a guy like that, going to play with Bedard, I mean, that could be a very dangerous line and almost like a legacy type thing to go and play with him and maybe win a cup in Chicago. And I think he would have a better chance there than he does in Minnesota. So it's gonna be a task for Guerin and the Wild to try to prove that they can win. If they don't, they're gonna lose them.
A shout out to MPP for stopping in. Thanks, DL. Appreciate you. And before I give you the spotlight, which I know everyone's been waiting for, I just want to give a quick shout out to this channel, Christopher Works, who is way undersubbed, you guys. He's at, I think, 102 or 120. Let's try to get him up to 150. He's well deserved of that. He does some really cool stuff, so make sure to go check him out. His link's in the description also. So go over there and tell him I sent you. So without further ado, let's give you the big stage here. And let's let you tell us a little bit about your guys' channel, your Instagram, how you guys got started. Unless I can be able to move this here. If it lets me.
Let me get it pulled up anyway. I can see if I can show the viewers. And I appreciate everyone for stopping in. What's up, National Parks Princess, the autograph fisherman, John Burgess. What a guy.
If you This
Nice.
John's actually got a huge TTM collection. So what that is, he sends cards out and the players actually sign it.
Huh?
And he's got some really huge guys like Kelly Rudy and all
Wow.
that stuff as well. There we go. Just being
All right.
slow tonight. So yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit about how you and Blake got started, how you guys met, like what made you go along the route that you've done and all that.
For sure. So it actually starts a couple of years ago. I was running a whole different thing from Hockey Talk Daily, and Blake had started this up on his own. So this is founded by Blake Backman, and he started this whole thing up from the ground up. But he started this Instagram page. You can sort of see there a little bit. And if you want to go drop a follow on Instagram, we post the news faster than anyone. So Hockey Talk Daily. And so yeah, he was doing his own thing there, and I just met him through. I was doing this podcast called Inside the Puck, and we had a little page going there, but it's no longer running. And he asked me if I could help him out a little bit, and I said absolutely. We were working on. Saw the Eagles thing. Yeah, we've been working on it together for I'd say about a year now, and he covers the Instagram mostly, and I take care of the news and and we're going to be doing a podcast soon. We're working on that. I'm working on getting that going, and the website, which we have some other contributors doing articles for, and so yeah, we're looking to really grow our brand as a like a hockey media platform almost, and yeah, so we're having a lot of fun doing that. It's just it's something on the side for both of us, but we do take it really seriously. And yeah, obviously the news is the biggest thing. We want to get that out as fast as possible. We want to be as fast as anyone, if not faster. And the fastest way to get the news is through our channel. So it will go right to your DMs if you're in this channel, which is obviously
Your link is in the description too, so they can all click on it and go right to it. So
yeah, so just head down there and click on that and check it out for sure. And yeah, so it's a very we're really proud of what we built, and it's too bad Blake couldn't be here because he is so proud of what we've done and what he's done, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing it over the past year or so.
definitely, and like I follow you guys on Instagram, on Discord. Your Discord stuff starting to get really big there as well too. But like even on Instagram, you guys are talking about the news and getting the news out, but you also keep everyone involved with little like vote on this or tell me your top 5, or I seen on their top best NHL covers from hockey games. Like it's always something different. You guys are always keeping everyone engaged as well on it as well.
Yeah, so one of our favorite things to do actually is just to get the followers involved in the post, because I mean that's the funnest thing, right? Like we want to engage with people and have those conversations and just have a fun time talking about hockey. That's like literally Hockey Talk Daily. Like we want to talk about it. So that's really our favorite thing is posts like that, and to just like sort of get everyone involved and talking about it. I think one of the recent ones we did here, let me see if I can pull it up, is here we go. This one, Jeremy Swayman. You can see that clearly. And it was a big one because there's 70 comments, and we were just like, there was a mock trade is one that we did as well for Swayman. And it just gets people talking. It's fun. That's what we want to do, talk about hockey.
Yeah, and I love it because you guys give me my news. So that's why I love following you guys, and you're always up to date. Like I said, you guys do it 24/7.
Yeah, and it's really great to hear you say that, because when we started, that was like the dream. Like we want to be the source for at least some people. Obviously, there's so many other sources, so we're not going to be able to get everyone. But that was like the dream. It's just to be the source that is relied upon and trustworthy.
Definitely. And like we were talking backstage, you follow a lot of people, and then some people don't even know you follow.
Yeah. So I have my personal like Twitter account and all that stuff for Hockey Talk Daily, but I have another one where I follow pretty much every insider you can possibly imagine. So does Blake. And just to get any rumor, any lead possible, and try to validate reports as quickly as we can. Obviously, we don't want to be posting anything that isn't true. It's not validated. So the big guys like Friedman, who are very accessible, are guys that everyone seems to know about. But it's like the smaller journalists who have big scoops that we can introduce to everyone. So that's really cool.
Awesome. So besides the YouTube, you guys got like anything that you guys want to do like bigger or?
Yeah. So obviously you mentioned the YouTube. So we're hoping to start up a podcast or some sort of show. It's still in the works right now, but that's something we were looking forward to in the next couple of months. And we really think that's going to help expand our whole branding.
Definitely.
Apart from that, we're going to move on to TikTok and like Instagram Reels type thing. And Blake's already doing that, but we really want to push more video content out involving us and, again, talking about hockey. Like just literally that's what we want. We want to share our opinions and have like sort of what you do is like having other people on and share their opinions and just talk about it. That's pretty much what we want to do for our careers, right? That'd be the dream. Yeah.
And what people don't know is you actually go to school for journalism.
Yeah, I do. So, I'm really pursuing it. And Hockey Talk Daily it's a side gig, but I also take it very seriously because hopefully it could lead to something big. And if not, I'll enter the media elsewhere. But we really like what we're doing. Hockey is my life. Me too. Follow you on Instagram, Kieran. Awesome. Hopefully we can get the news to you as fast as possible. Yeah, it is. It has been fun.
So you guys any breaking news while you've been on?
Let's see here.
Anything we can share?
Oh, 1 second. No, I don't think so. There's nothing. It's a bit late at night, so it doesn't look like there's any news right now. Kevin Weeks, no, nothing.
So I guess our next question is, got any favorite players like growing up besides like when you were younger growing up, like besides the Suzuki's or anyone that you followed before?
I'll try to take the Canadians out of the conversation, so I'll move to other teams. I'd say a couple guys that I really followed growing up. Brock Besser is one of them. I don't know why. I just kind of really liked him and been following him ever since, and really hoping he comes to the Canadians in free agency next year. That'd be awesome. And who else? I'd say I'm a really big fan of Yegor Sharangovich. So I kind of just pick one guy from all the Canadian teams and say I love him. I think he's awesome. When he was younger, he also have to gain at least 80 pounds. When he was younger, what are you responding to there? Like in diapers?
I don't know what they're going on about. They're all talking to each other in there. But yeah, we got a great chat in here, so let's give a shout out to everyone in the chat again. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for coming. You're always making people smile and making the guests feel welcome, so thank you all for coming. Wouldn't be the same without you guys, so.
Yeah, this chat's awesome. If you guys have any questions, just shoot as well. No problem.
Yeah, any questions, guys, Kieran will answer, or I can. Just leave us in the comments, and we'll get them for you. So I guess... like, do you guys take breaks or do you guys do shifts?
Well, I mean, we're pretty safe during most hours of the night. Now, obviously, the mornings can be different. Like, big things happen in the morning. But, I mean, obviously, being a Maritimer, we are the first ones up in all of North America, pretty much. Yeah. So that works in my favor, and I'm usually up very early for school anyway. So, obviously, in journalism school, I'm usually up about 6. So that gives me a chance to check the news quickly, make sure we haven't missed anything. And Blake, who is living in Alberta, he's in, like, that's mountain time. So he's up way late into the night. So it's almost like we only miss probably 3 hours while we're sleeping, maybe not even that. So typically we don't miss much, say that.
And you said you played hockey. What did you finish in? Junior what?
Good luck in school. Thank you very much. So I played some higher levels when I was really younger, but I think my last season was just a junior C because we were just playing with the fellas. I had all my friends on the team, and it was a great time.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess I ask everybody this question. So I guess we'll ask you. So it can be past or present, and it can be your team or it can be all NHL. But if you were to do a Mount Rushmore of 5 players, who would it be?
All time.
All
Okay.
time. Could be older players, newer players, players coming up.
All right. Well, we're gonna go chronological order. I'm gonna start with Maurice Richard. You said five players, right?
Yep, 5.
And I think Maurice Richard was the first best player of all time. In my opinion, I think he is an iconic goal scorer. And even though he's not in the top of the point charts anymore, for his time, that was amazing what he did. He was truly a special player. Secondly, I'm going to go with Gordie Howe. And Gordie Howe's longevity is obviously what stands out, but also just how good he was. Like, for all those years, it was incredible. So Gordie Howe would be my number 2. I'd say you can't have Mount Rushmore without Wayne Gretzky. You just can't. And he's the best player of all time, and that's all I got to say. There's nothing need to be added about that. I think I'm gonna backtrack actually and say, I said Kieran wins. I think I'm gonna backtrack. I'm gonna say Bobby Orr is going in there as well, just because he's the best defenseman of all time, and I think that's pretty simple stuff there. Orr is like the premier defenseman in history, and obviously his iconic cup moment against the Blues is obviously huge too. That's maybe like the most iconic moment of all time in the NHL. So the final spot now, there's a couple players left, Lemieux, and I think Crosby and McDavid could be on the cusp there too, but I'm going to pick Dominic Hasek.
Oh, nice.
Because I think I had to include a goalie in there, and for me, he's the best to ever do it.
Oh, that's going to rile up the chat a bit. I know there's some Patty Waugh fans and everything in here like that. So this will rattle up the chat a little bit. Get some blood going here. Why Hasek? Like, out of all the goalies, why Hasek for you?
Interesting. And obviously, it's a tough choice because Brodeur's right there and Waugh's right there. And I think Dryden's right there too. For me, Hasek, he came over from Europe in a time where it wasn't that popular to do so. And by the numbers, he's the best. And just look at his highlights. He makes the coolest saves. He's got some incredible accomplishments over his career. To me, he's the best guy. They like Patrick Waugh, but I'm sticking with Dominic Hasek here.
Nice shout out Rocky Hockey for coming in. He's a huge Abs fan, so shout him out. No, that's great. So I know you're a goalie, so let's switch it around here. What would be your top 5 goalies?
Right then. Now this might turn some heads here, but I obviously got to go with Hasek, number 1. Brodeur and Waugh got to be on there, so I'm putting those 2. I think my number 4, and he could be number 1 if he had played a little longer, is Ken Dryden. I mean, he won. I think it was like 5. Let me look this up. 5 hard trophies or something in his 8 years playing. Ken Dryden.
Dig says you better say Stoico.
Yeah.
Alex Stoico. That's one of Dig's favorite things.
I'm not gonna say him, but sorry. Okay, yes, 6-time Stanley Cup champion, 5-time Vezina winner, Conn Smythe winner in 8 seasons. That's unbelievable. That's really crazy. Number 5. There's a lot of tough decisions. I think it could be Lundqvist. It could be Price. It could be. Oh man, I don't even know. I think I want to go with a goaltender from this era, so it's between those 2. And I think
choose wisely. Remember whose show you're on.
Yeah, and it pains me to say it, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Henrik Lundqvist there, in the number 5 spot. And it's just because he played all those years. He was so good every single season. He's never. And for Price, he had those seasons where he just he couldn't do it because of his injuries. And it's not all his fault that he's injured and stuff, but I have to take it into account, unfortunately. And I think Lundqvist, it's so sad he never gets a cup because he is one of the best.
Those two are two great ones because those two are both deserving of cups.
Yeah,
Price and Lundqvist, and they should have had cups.
I still think 2014 would have won it if he didn't get injured, but that was sad. But Lundqvist, and it's just so sad he never got one. It was really devastating when at the end of Lundqvist's career when he went to the Capitals, it's like, he might get one here, and then he was hurt and stuff, and that was it for him. So yeah,
that sucked. It sucked as a Rangers fan to lose him. I'm still hurt from when they traded Zuccarello away. He was my favorite Ranger. So that still hurts me a bit.
I remember.
Six said, "Damn, paying you to say Lundqvist."
I already picked two halves, so I felt like I had to. You probably did. No. What was I just saying? Oh yeah, no, I didn't get it. Anyway, I think I said what I had to say. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So you guys, I know you follow a lot of stuff and everything. If you were to have a dark horse team this year that people should really pay attention to, that you could be on the cups of even getting the wild card in there, who would it be and why?
It's tough because I think I have two real big ones from each conference, but I'm just gonna pick one.
You can do both conferences. That's fine.
All right, then we'll start with my number one. And as much as it pains me to say it as a Canadiens fan, I don't think there's, other than the Leafs, no team I hate as much as the Ottawa Senators. But now that they've got that number one goaltender in Linus Ullmark, and he is honestly probably a top 10, maybe top 5 goaltender in the league in a consistent basis. He's just really, really solid. And the Senators haven't had that since, Anderson's prime. That was 7-8 years ago now. So that's a big change for them. They have not had good goaltending since about 2017, and that is going to make the difference. I'm subscribed immediately.
Loud collector. I'm subscribed immediately.
But the Blackhawks are interesting, but yeah, no, the Senators, I just think that's a big hole, and they filled it. And I think, as well as their prospects like Sanderson, the young guys, Stützle, Kachuk's going to be a solid player. Obviously, he already is, but he's taking more steps every single season, as much as I truly hate to say it. But yeah, that's my pick for the dark horse. In the East, the Devils are worth mentioning too, but we will go into the West, and it's going to be Utah, because I think they made some amazing additions this offseason. Ingram is an amazing goaltender. He was already on the team, but he went under the radar last year. And it seems like every year the Coyotes / Utah have had goaltenders go under the radar. Like when Kemper was there, he wasn't super known, but he was really good. Hill is another guy that was really good there and went on to be a cup-winning starter. Well, I'll get back to that in a second. But now they've got Sergachev as their number one defenseman, who is very much deserving of that opportunity. He's been behind guys like Hedman in Tampa Bay for his entire career. So he's going to get a chance to be the number one guy. And I think he could absolutely be a guy who put up 60 points as the number one option for Utah. And I mean, their forward core is only coming together now with Gunther just signed his big deal. I think that was 7 or 8 years by $7 million. So that's a big deal for him. And he's going to be a great player. Keller just got named captain, and he is an amazing talent. Cooley is coming up. Like his rookie year was last season, and he's only going to get better. It's just guys like that really put the team together. And they were in the running for a while there. Like last season, I think it was till about the 50th or 60th game mark. They were still in the race. And I think that this season's going to make the difference. LA, I don't see it for them. I'm sorry. I think they had a good rebuild going about 2 years ago, but they almost went all in too fast and they ruined it. I don't know. I don't trust. I just don't trust the team at all. And without Doughty now, like their defense is just not good, is it? Yeah, no, I don't trust LA at all. They may not even make it for me.
For me, I see Columbus as a
Mhm.
real dark horse, especially with everything that's going on. I have a feeling that this is a season that they really want to make count for Johnny Gaudreau.
Yeah, that
So
could be.
I see them like really being a dark horse this year, especially with all the talent they got, like Fantilli, I can't.
Kent Johnson too.
Yeah, Kent Johnson and all the other ones coming out, like David Jurchek on defense, who, if he gets a shot, like I'm a Jurchek fan. Like this kid is an amazing defenseman. And
I
if
think one of the best
Zach, Zach
drafting.
can stay healthy, that's a big plus too.
Yeah. And I mean, they just brought in Monahan too, who he might have some extra motivation to play now.
Yeah, and Monahan came for Gaudreau. That's who recruited him over.
Yeah, that's just devastating. I mean, I don't even know how to put into words how devastating that is, that whole situation. So yeah, it's just terrible.
And then I'm hoping Alvis can get back to Alvis we've seen before, who can steal a game or can steal a series. Like, I think that when his buddy died, that really devastated him more than what people think, and he hasn't been the same since. So I'm hoping with the new coach, Dean Evanson, and everything, it kind of motivates him a bit more.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. He's gone through so much, and that whole organization has. I mean, two big deaths. I shouldn't say big deaths. Like every death is absolutely monumental, but it's an organization, a group of players who have gone through a lot, and they could have a lot to motivate them this season, a lot to play for. But if they don't do well, I'm giving them a pass because they've been through a lot.
Definitely. And then for the West, I see the Stars really running away with that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like with all the, like they have a lot of young talent that is really good. Like,
I don't know how they are so good and draft these amazing players every season. Whoever is their scouting needs to be given a raise. That is incredible scouting from the Dallas Stars.
and like Wyatt Johnson was from the COVID where they couldn't even see videotapes of him. They just picked it.
And he might be the best player out of that draft.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's crazy. They've just been drafting so well. It's crazy to see.
And like they draft lower too, so it's like they're getting these really top end guys in lower end.
Right, like Stankoven's a second round pick. Johnston, I'm pretty sure he's a second round pick.
Yeah,
like they're getting these guys, you know.
And Ottinger, I think Ottinger was the third or fourth round.
Yeah, he was later too. Looking at Kieran makes me feel old. I can only imagine what I did. Yeah, no, they've just been. I don't know, and they've got guys coming up now too. Like there's still guys in their system. They've just been drafting. Leanne Bichel is a guy that comes to mind. He's a huge defenseman from Switzerland. He's not quite there yet, but he will be soon. And if they keep doing this, they're going to be a powerhouse for the next decade.
And then, a name that no one's even mentioning, who I think is going to have a breakout season this year, and I have him in fantasy, is Thomas Harley.
I have him in fantasy too. I think he's excellent.
He's going to break out this year.
Yep, I think so too. You said you're a goalie. Will you continue your run for the NHL? Well, my draft would have been a couple months ago, so I'm going to say no. I am out on the NHL.
But no, like Thomas Harley, I think is going to do really big this year.
I agree. Oh, I think he was great last year too, but now that I think he's really going to get that chance to be their top defenseman. I mean, Miro Heiskanen, but they're like one of their top defensemen, and now he's going to get.
And Miro Heiskanen, I don't think gets talked about enough.
He truly is one of the premier defenders in the league. He could be top 5 right now. My daughter dated a goalie unsubscribed.
Oh, dig.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that, Thomas Harley.
And then, Heiskanen is so underrated. I really don't think he gets talked about enough. at all, just because I think it's overshadowed by your Foxes, your Kale McCarrs, but Heisman shut down McDavid.
Yeah, no, that his playoff run was unbelievable. They maybe did the best job out of anyone defending McDavid, other than I guess maybe the Panthers, but he was also amazing in those games 4, 5, and 6. So it's hard to say. Heiskanen obviously highlighting him because he is their main guy. I mean, obviously offensively, but defensively as well. Like he should not go under the radar that he is an amazing defensive defenseman, but he can put up numbers offensively too. So yeah.
And then we were talking about backstage. We both think Florida Panthers are going to drop this year.
I certainly think so.
I think their team was so good last year that losing Montour and the guys they brought in isn't going to be the same.
Yeah. I think, you look at, they lost Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who is an excellent defensive depth for the Maple Leafs now, and he was for the Florida Panthers. You lose Montour, who was, one of your top guys on defense. You lose Stolarz, who was maybe the best backup in the NHL last season, and you had so much stability in the back end when you didn't even have Bobrovsky in net, who was a Vezina candidate, I do believe. And so that's just like they had that stability all across the board, and they've lost a bit of it. I will say they made some replacements like Adam Bachfist on defense. I think that's a decent pickup, but he's unproven. He hasn't played well yet. So we'll see. I don't know if they'll – yeah, I said Christopher Works. I think that's probably a fair point. Like, they might make the playoffs. They probably will, but will they go deep? Maybe not, right?
And then, is Ekblad going to be healthy? Because he can never stay healthy, like ever.
And he's not even as effective as he used to be when he is, because he's just ridden with injuries, unfortunately. One of those guys that it's just sad to see him as just not as good as a player as he used to be. But yeah, again, like you may have a situation where he can't even play at all because he's usually out with injury pretty often. So we'll see what happens there.
And one player I do love from that team, and I'm so happy for him, is Antoine Lindell.
Yep.
I really love that player.
He's really good. He actually, it's funny because he reminds me of Alexander Barkov in almost every way. Kieran, did you ever hear of a kid named Nathan Torchia? He is the son of Mike Torchia. Jay's Mix, I can't say that I've ever heard of a kid named Nathan Torchia, but should I? Who is that?
Alex, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
But no, definitely, I think Florida's going to drop. They won't. I think they'll still be a playoff team, but I think it'll be like a 7 or 6 seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say so. They won't be in that 1 to 4 anymore, but they definitely can squeak in the 5 to 8 type thing.
Now we have Barkov is incredibly underrated and such a force on the ice. Watching him live.
The freaking goalie dating my daughter. Is that who Nathan Torchia is? Never heard of him. Sorry. It must be he must be a Maritimer too. Then yeah, I've never heard of him. If I ever come to find who Nathan Torchia is, I'll make sure to let him know that you are not happy with him at all. He doesn't represent the goalies. He does not. Nathan played for the University of Windsor. No, I'm not familiar with him. No one.
That's a good thing from John there. No one will ever get back-to-back cups anymore because every team's such evenly matched.
Yeah, it's tougher. It is tougher now, especially the COVID cap situation really sort of made that difficult to maintain such a team for too long. Because then you have guys on expiring deals. They just won the cup. They want big money, and you can't afford it. Like, obviously, Florida's the perfect example. They lost Montour, Ekman-Larsson, Stolarz, and, even more depth who were on the cusp of retiring, like Okposo. These are big guys in the lineup down the playoffs because you need to have a very balanced roster, and it's harder to maintain nowadays.
Well, look at Vegas, for example. Look at how many guys they've lost, and they couldn't even repeat. And they're they're like the injury-prone team where they can put someone on IR, Mark Stone will get hurt, put him on IR, bring in all these other things, and Mark Stone's back.
Well, suddenly he's just magically healed for game 1 of the playoffs. Welcome back.
Yeah, like I call him the IR Knights.
Yeah, no, it's but I will say Vegas. I didn't mention them for my sleeper pick, but they've got an interesting team. Holtz, they just brought in Alexander Holtz, and he's someone you got to keep an eye on too because he could really do well with them. Yeah, it's hard to be a repeat cup winner now.
And then you got, like we just talked about, IR. Robin Leonard's cap isn't even going to go towards Vegas this year, so they got all that free money.
Yeah,
now too.
It was going to IR anyway, right? But yeah, it's Lehner. I don't know him anymore. I don't even know what happened. He just like went off the tracks a little bit there. So anyway.
Yeah. But I don't even know. They brought in Samsonov, who I don't think he's anything special.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean Hill's the starter there, so I guess he's there to be a backup anyway.
I still think the worst thing they did was trade Logan Thompson. Logan Thompson should have been the starter. I mean, Hill's great, but Thompson, I think, has got the better upside.
You think you'd start Logan Thompson over Aiden Hill?
I would have kept Logan Thompson.
Well, I definitely wouldn't agree with that.
No?
No, I mean Thompson's not a bad goaltender at all. I think he could play well for Washington, but I don't know. Hill, cup winning goaltender. He took that team to the finals, and last year when he was healthy, and that could be a problem for him. They staying healthy. He was excellent.
I still think they shouldn't have got rid of Fleury, but
yeah, that was definitely an interesting way to do it too. To a guy who was like your franchise face for the first couple of years.
Yeah, who I think is a great ambassador, especially being Vegas because all the pranks that he pulls and just the person that he is. Like it fit Vegas, like it really did.
Yeah, I actually agree for sure. And that first season, he was unbelievable in that first season. And the playoffs, that's maybe one of the better runs a goaltender's ever had. 2018 Fleury was amazing in the playoffs. So that was, yeah, it's sad.
And then one team I'm really going to be watching this year who I think really did really good under the radar is Seattle with all the people that they brought in, like the Montours, the Marchessaults. Shane Wright is going to have a big year this year. Hopefully we play him more.
Did Marchessault? I thought Marchessault went to Nashville.
Oh, maybe Marchessault did, but there's another Stevenson. That's who went to.
Yes, Stevenson. Yeah. And Mark Stone has made it glass. Well, only near the trade deadline. But yeah, I agree. The Kraken did really well. Montour is a great guy to pair with Vince Dunn, who is already a very underrated player, defenseman. And you get Stevenson, who has been probably the number 2 center in Vegas for a while, and you put him either next to or behind probably Shane Wright and Matty Beniers. Matty Beniers didn't have the best year last year. Probably it was just a regression really from Slavkovsky. I absolutely agree. What a wonderful take that is, Sticks G. That is just some amazing commentary. I think we need you to make more comments. That's excellent. But
Sticks is a Canadians fan, just so you know.
But yeah, I think they're gonna do some good things. And Wright, as much as I don't like him, really, for all the shenanigans that went on with the Canadians and all that stuff, I think he's gonna be a good player. He's still got that two-way game to him. And as far as second line, maybe even first line centers go, he's gonna be solid.
Definitely. And I think they got a really good team. I'm curious to see how Dan Balsma does with the team.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm more curious about because he was a good coach, but I'm very iffy on him as the coach.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have brought in like a Dean Evanson, somebody that could structure a bit more.
If it was possible, right? To bring in Dean Evanson, that would have been probably a little better. But I don't mind. I can't pronounce his name, but I'm gonna go for Bill Sama or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, I will give him my best shot. But I like what they're doing in nets as well. I mean, Decord was a guy who went under the radar. He's still young,
Definitely.
and I think he's solid.
He really is. Like, I just don't think he got the opportunities in Ottawa.
Yeah.
And then saying when he went to Florida, he didn't get the opportunities there as well.
Was he in Florida?
Yeah, he went to Florida for, I think, 1 or 2 years. When Spencer Knight went to the program.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No. I see what you're saying. All right.
So I really hope they give him the reins because I don't think Grubauer is number one. I really don't. Maybe number 2 at the most.
Yeah, he's a solid backup, but that's just about it for him now. And yeah, so.
But Decord, I think, should get the reins because he really helped that team turn around last year.
Mm-hmm. And they were not looking great at about, the halfway point. They were pretty much out of the playoffs already. And he came in. I know he played I think it was the Winter Classic, one of the outdoor games. Didn't really pay attention too much, but I remember watching that game and he played excellent. I think it was 1-0 to finish that one against Vegas. Just like really an example of what he can do as a starting goaltender.
All right, so as I do here, I know we got some card guys in here, so I just want to drop some news for all the Canadians out there. Sorry for people in the States, but on Monday, the new Tim Hortons cards drop. So I know all of Canada will be starting to go Timmy's even a bit more to start buying some cards. So shout out to Barry Barry coming in. Thanks, Barry Barry. So Karen, do you collect any hockey cards or memorabilia or anything like that?
I'm gonna have to disappoint everyone and say I don't really collect hockey cards, but I collect jerseys.
Oh, nice.
Let me hold up. Give me 2 seconds here, and
Right.
so I can gather some of the jerseys that are around. 1 second.
Okay. Awesome. If you guys haven't, make sure to go give Barry a like. He was live today, so make sure to go give that video a like and subscribe. It was great to see him. Yeah, so guys, just so you know, we got Tim Hortons cards out, and same as last week, all the other updates are still the same.
All right. So let's go one by one here.
Hold on, I'll get you on the big screen here.
All right, so this is my first one that I'm going to showcase, and it's the Canadians. It was the NHL 100 Classic jersey that they played the Maple Leafs against. We got two signatures, and they're a little interesting. So the first one up here is a mostly not a Canadiens legend, but he did play for the Canadiens, and he is a legend. That's Danny Briere.
Right there.
Nice. So I met him at the World Juniors. He was a scout for Philadelphia at the time. And down here, we've got my guy, Lane Hudson.
Oh, nice.
So two very different signatures, but they're both Canadians. So I
sent a TTM to Montreal because they actually got one of the players like PC, and that's Alex Briere-Boulet.
Yeah, he's been doing decent this preseason too.
Yeah, I'm really high on him, and I'm hoping he gets the chance because I watched him in junior, and he's really good. He just needs a chance.
And they may give it to him because he's still on the roster right now. So
yeah.
All right, number 2 that I decided to go with is a classic for sure.
Oh, nice.
Trailers. No signatures on this one, but still a cool jersey.
That's nice.
Oh, man.
John has a TTM autograph from Carey Price.
Really? Wow, that's sick.
So that's great. Thanks, John.
Send a picture of that through if you can to send it to Hockeytalk Daily or something. If that works.
Yeah. John, let Karen know. Maybe you can send it to me a picture, and I'll send it to Karen, and then I can show it to him.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Stick says he loves the old school jerseys. Dig says he has an Alva Stoico auto. No, this is I'm following you now. I'll send it to you, John said.
Okay, cool.
So, no, thanks for coming on tonight. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Too bad Blake couldn't make it, but next time you guys come on, hopefully Blake can make it.
Yeah, we'll make sure that, well, hopefully nothing comes up like this time, but, families happens. So, yeah.
Yeah, family first, as always.
Of course.
No, so guys, definitely go check out Kieran and Blake and Hockey Talk Daily down in the description. Tell them I sent you, so that way maybe they'll know, oh, who's this? Tell them I sent you, and it's great. And I think me, Blake, and Kieran maybe in the future might be collaborating a bit.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be looking towards the future for that. So just keep your eyes open.
Definitely. So I don't. Maiden already followed you. I think everyone here has gone over and followed you. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. And make sure to go check out Christopher Works and give him a sub and a like. Let's get him up to 150. He's well deserved of it. So as a custom on this show, the guests always close out the show.
Interesting.
So every guest has their own little dialogue for YouTubers, at least, saying how they close out their video. I know this is going to be a little bit new to you, but on this show, we let the guests close it out. It's a tradition here that we've been starting. So without further ado, Kern, you get to close out the show tonight.
All right, then. I'll do my best. First of all, I just want to thank everyone for coming. I mean, it's really cool to just talk to you guys, talk to Dan, have a good time. Don't shout out my daughter, Kieran. Shout out to the biggest. What's Dagan's name? Just shout out the biggest daughter. And, I'll be meeting you soon. This will be her second goalie boyfriend. We'll be. I'll represent better than the other guy. Don't worry. Yeah, great time. And make sure to come back for next Friday because, I mean, they're going to have another interesting guest on here. So just come on, have a good time, have a beer, whatever. And, yeah, enjoy it. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Or I won't, but we'll see you. See you.
Awesome, guys. Everyone have a good night. And we have on next week, we have Neil Filipino, and we're going to be talking some New Jersey Devils. So stay tuned for next week.
He's a great guy. Tune in for that show. Yeah.
Definitely. Everyone have a great night. Kieran, I'll see you in a few.
Yeah.